And welcome back to our program. This is the last show we're going to do, our New Year's show, as we shut down 2011 and look towards 2012. I'm glad the year is coming to an end for a variety of reasons. First of all, in terms of the rest of the country, we haven't had the best year we could have had in 2011. We did get out of Iraq. We're still sucked into Afghanistan. I think there's going to be less and less support for our presence there. The huge amount of money it's costing us with no real goal in sight. I don't know what our focus is, and we're going to have some brush fires. I'd like to think we'd be focused more like we did in Libya, where there was no soldiers on the ground. We did things from the air. We gave financial support. We did other things to bring that crisis to a close. However, the world is still going to be a focus for us in 2012, but I think in a more positive light than maybe 2011. 2012, by the way, the good thing about 11, by the way, is that I'm just so blessed to have so many of you who are listening to this show who've been a part and been so supportive. We've grown dramatically with a number of new stations all over America, and the worldwide audience is just astounding. About 20% of all of our listeners come from outside the United States over the web, 9%, 10% from China, about 6% from the Soviet Union. I'm not sure why. I think a lot of people tune in just so they could practice their English here and listening to an American voice. But we get a lot of emails. Romania, get a lot of emails from Romania. So we're glad to have that worldwide audience, even though we're focused primarily in the Deep South with our national audience that we have right here on Jim Brown's Common Sense. Big 2012, if you live down in my neck of the woods, people are going nuts over football. We've got the #1 football team in the country. Just signed the #1 recruit in the country, great quarterback coming in for LSU, and of course the BCS game a week from Monday night. I'll be in that number in the Superdome in New Orleans. And just the day before, we'll have the New Orleans Saints, who are in the playoffs, won their division, and moving towards what we hope will be another Super Bowl victory. And I know you're pulling for your local team wherever you live, but with all of the problems we've had in Louisiana post-Katrina, it sure is a blessing to have the great interest in football and the enthusiasm that it brings in terms of giving a more positive nature to the rest of the state. I've told you folks often from around the rest of the country that this is a state that's been blessed by so much creative talent, the finest musicians and the first-rate seafood, the first-rate chefs. You know, some of the most creative chefs in America right here in Louisiana, the artists and the writers. You can go right down the line. When I mentioned football, I think there are more NFL football players who came from Louisiana proportionally than any state in the country. And so we do so well when we're creative and using our God-given talents. We have some problems in our politics, as a lot of you know, and so I hope that the enthusiasm in some of these venues will flow over for a good year in Louisiana, and a good year where you happen to be listening and wherever you happen to live. I certainly wish you well. Focus on the presidential race. I think I told the folks listening to the show last week that I had the chance of having dinner with Mitt Romney, who looks like right now he's going to be the Republican nominee. If you gave me $50 and said vote, not $10,000, and Romney want to bet someone $10,000, I'll bet you, let's say $50. I'll put the bet on Romney right now. I think he's going to win the nomination and probably going to be the odds-on favorite to beat President Obama. Going to be an interesting race, but that's just my sense of talking to the candidates. I've talked to most of the candidates. I've not talked to Gingrich. I've met him before. Did not talk to Gingrich. Talked to Michelle Bachmann, Rick Santorum, and Ron Paul, all when they were in New Orleans for the Republican Leadership Council a few months ago. Interviewed those folks. And I've known the governor of Texas, Governor Perry, who was the flavor of the month for a while, but then crashed and burned. And Romney, although he's not set a barn fire off and has not shot to the top dramatically, he's been consistent. I also like his business background, the fact that he seems to make the trains run on time. We need in America someone just to keep everything moving in a secular manner, and I hope that whoever gets elected will do that very thing. Right now, I got to put my money on Romney. You have your preference, and we'll certainly see here in the weeks and months to come. Moving, guys, we're just a matter of days before the Iowa caucus, moving into the New Hampshire primary. I would project that if Romney would win Iowa or finish a very close second and strongly win in New Hampshire, that the momentum will be just too hard to overcome, and he's going to be the nominee. So for whatever it's worth, there's my projection. I wrote a column this week about New Year's, my thoughts of past New Year's. some fond memories of hunting with the Archbishop of Louisiana. And you might want to check that out on my website at www.jimbrown.usa.com. I'll be New Year's Eve with my family down in New Orleans, our traditional haunt, where we go down to Antoine's restaurant and then go out on the French Quarter, watch our big ball come down on Chapatula Street right by Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. So wherever you're going to do your New Year's celebrating, be safe. And I want to wish each of you and all of our listeners a very happy New Year. We'll see you next year right here on Jim Brown's Common Sense.